Hey everyone, hope you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities. I'll interject my financial opinion, and we'll work through dollar yields and then work our way through precious metals and commodities. And we'll start with the dollar here. So let's just start right off the bat. DXY, we are strengthening today. We're at that support level. Are we going to go lower or are we going to bounce here? That's really the question. And this long-term support level is this guy going across right here. We're right at it. We have a wick at the top from a monthly candlestick last month. This month we're down. And are we going to use this as support and break higher, or is this going to be a resistance level that we eventually work our way lower? That's yet to be determined. But the ramifications of the dollar are weaker dollar, tailwind behind gold, tailwind behind a lot of commodities. Stronger dollar is usually a headwind, to sum it up. The 10-year yield is being quite volatile. We're up 4% on the 10-year yield today alone. And we've had a monster move to the upside. Are we going to relax and get yields to pull on back? Precious metals like lower yields. They like a yield curve where the TYX is going down slower than TNX. So TNX is going down at a greater pace than TYX. And right now we've got a TNX going up at a faster rate than TYX. That gold and precious metals do not like that scenario as much, and especially with a stronger dollar. So are we going to continue to invert the yield curve, or are we going to uninvert? That's really the question. I think it's going to continue to invert. I think oil prices are going to continue higher. I think inflation is going to continue higher. And I think that they will continue to invert. That's my opinion there. Bond prices, TLT, heading lower here. We do have a wick at the bottom. We could see a short-term little bounce. Will it be sustainable? That's not exactly sure, but we'll have to see. And the 30-year yield heading higher, 2.11% to the upside, but we do have a wick at the top. So are we going to head lower in yields, lower in the dollar? That's all yet to be determined. We're at these critical junctures, at least for the DXY, to see what we're going to do if that dollar is going to drop. TYX to TNX is heading lower. Usually see that with a stronger oil price, and precious metals don't like this decline here. So what we're going to see is probably a decline in precious metals given these inputs. Commodities heading higher today. They're still looking good. We're using this as a long-term bounce support. There is the support level. We're getting a nice good bounce here. We could see commodities start to take off. Remember, oil is our leader. I heard that OPEC is cutting back 2 million barrels a day. Go Biden on the SPR releases, and OPEC just to come back and spit it in your face. Way to go there. But heading higher here for commodities. We've got gold heading a little bit lower today. That's what this is. Could this be a bloody nose? I think it highly depends on the market conditions and what the yields are doing. It very well could be a continuation pattern. I call it a bloody nose, where you've got large green candlesticks and a small red candlestick next to it. We're also seeing the same thing with silver, more pronounced, but it could almost be a bearish engulfing. But again, short term, we'll see what happens. And then we've got platinum that also has a bloody nose, basically a retest to the support line. Hopefully we can get a move higher out of platinum. Looking at XEU to gold ratio, that ratio is moving sideways today. It's slightly down, but it's right at that support resistance line. Bigger picture view, we still got to break a lot of stuff to go higher, where we've seen outperformance of the gold and silver mining companies. They still have some work to do. SILJ heading a little bit lower today. Again, still doesn't look bad, though. We're above support. We've broken out of these patterns. Still looks fine to me. And then GDX, still looking good. We've got nice, good little hammer candlesticks on both of them. It's a hammer candlestick that usually means that we can head on higher. That it tried to sell off, but buyers came in and bought it up throughout the day. Scrolling down to crude oil heading higher today. We had the release, the news release of the 2 million barrels that OPEC's cutting back. I think that they're not happy with Biden releasing this strategic petroleum reserves in a non-emergency measure. I think that OPEC is actually doing the right thing. There's my opinion in there, because we need higher prices to basically bring on more supply. And we have a very bad demand supply dynamic brewing in the mix right now. I think crude oil is going to go a lot higher. I think natural gas is going to go higher. I think anything energy related is going to go much higher, and we need higher prices to spur higher supply. And the Strategic Petroleum Reserve was definitely getting in the mix there, meddling with stuff. But we've broken the downtrend. We're heading on up. It looks very strong for crude oil. Natural gas heading up a little bit. Are we going to get one last final pullback? That is yet to be determined, to see if we get one last little spill out here before heading higher. I'm hoping for the spill so I can buy some more. But again, we'll have to find out if we get it or not. XOP, yeah, you know me. It's also heading higher today, looking quite strong. I don't see a reversal candlestick yet. We very well could get one the next trading session with a wick at the top or something. So we'll have to see what tomorrow trades for us. But momentum is higher, looks good. OIH is also moving on higher, finishing strong. Everything looks really strong so far. I don't see any reversal candlesticks. We are coming into a little bit of resistance before back in here. So we're going to be going through that resistance level. Uranium, slightly lower to sideways, not really moving much at all for the futures pricing. Still looks good. The Sprott Physical Uranium Trust rocketing higher today. Looks strong, is strong. And it's going to start attacking that 1815 level that we need to break through for resistance. URNM, basically a sideways move. I called it a bloody nose, down 0.07%. I still think everything's intact. We could potentially move higher. I think it highly depends on what the overall markets do. We need that bond market to calm down. It's too unstable right now. We're moving all over the place. The dollar's moving all over the place, the DXY. And that doesn't bode well for some of these sectors, especially the overall stock market. It doesn't really know what to do because things are moving all over the place, moving quite volatile. The volatility is quite great. CCJ moving sideways to slightly lower. It still looks all right. We're just chopping sideways here. Again, URNM looks pretty good. So let's see if we can calm down on the bonds and the yield movements and start to work our way higher. Looking at TAN. TAN is a solar ETF. This guy is down today, 4%. It definitely does not like higher yields, I can tell you that. But we're coming on back. Have lots of volatility over here. We're still above the breakout line here. And from a long-term perspective, it looks fantastic for a move higher. Are we going to get that move? These guys aren't cash flow kings. So it's highly dependent on interest rates, borrowing money, and what the government wants to do. COPX, right on support. We're getting a bounce on that support to the upside, so that's looking better. It still looks good in my opinion. I don't see any reversal candlesticks where it wants to head lower or anything. So we're still doing all right in that camp. CRB to S&P 500's up higher. That's looking good for that ratio. REMX, still looking good above support. We had a little bit of a down day today, but still looks all right. And buyers came in and bought up and put a little wick at the bottom of it. Global Lithium ETF just moving sideways. I call it kind of the bloody chest. Still looks good to go higher, in my opinion, in the shorter term. We've got the S&P 500 moving sideways at getting the bloody nose. Hopefully that momentum can continue higher. I think we'll also pull up a lot of the stocks that we're in. That includes uranium, includes rare earth metals, lithium, and those types of commodities. Nasdaq also getting a sideways move today. Doesn't look too bad. We'll have to see what tomorrow has in store for us. It does not like higher yields, does not like a higher dollar. So I'm actually quite impressed with the overall markets, given that yields are higher and the dollar's higher. So that is impressive. EEM just moving sideways alongside the overall markets. Still looks pretty good given where the dollar was today and yields. XHB also moving sideways, that bloody chest type movement. And I still think it looks fine. We just need the dollar to calm down and the bond market to calm down. And things I think will start moving. Lumber moving sideways, not much to say there. we've got cocoa futures moving higher. I still think that looks good to move higher. We've broken another kind of strong resistance level there to the upside. Wheat also looking good to move higher. We've got bigger up candlesticks, small down candlesticks for a potential move on up. Soybeans still getting a little bit of selling pressure here. We could go lower, maybe. We are contracting in the opening and closing prices of the candlesticks. That usually means that we're coming to a decision point and a potential movement higher from a downtrend. But it may have a little bit more time to go on it. More kind of chopping sideways action. We've got corn futures moving sideways here. We can see the small opening and closing prices. It is indecisive, doesn't know where to go. Buyers equal to sellers. Copper looking quite strong here. This is surprising to me. We've got the overall markets kind of moving sideways. You think copper moves sideways, but copper's moving higher. This is a good development. I like what it's doing. We're in the middle of its channel here, but we'd like to break out of 375 and hold above it. Mu also heading a little bit lower, that bloody chest with the overall markets. It still looks fine to me. I see no reversal candlesticks or anything like that. Aluminum still adding a little bit to the price, a little bit higher. Still looks really good from this support level. So that looks good. And then the Baltic Dry Index moving on up from its support level, resistance level to the upside, up 4%. Some of these companies going kind of berserk, which is good. So the overall markets, the spot that I like the most right now is oil and natural gas. I think uranium also looks good, but I don't know if it's as tempting as oil and natural gas. Uranium isn't as tempting as oil and natural gas. Hopefully I said that right. So that's where I'm looking. Oil and natural gas. That's kind of my favorite area, and that's what I've got for the day, guys. So sign up to the website, Platinum membership. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give me a thumbs up, and we'll catch you next time. This is Finding Value.